this is a critical period. They have a period of, well, till tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I gave them an extension. They asked for an extension of 7 days, right? I said, Steve, give them 10 days. 10 days is up actually today, so I gave them 11, I guess, indirectly. I thought it was inappropriate the day after Easter. I want to be a nice person. They have till tomorrow. Now, we'll see what happens. I can tell you they're negotiating, we think, in good faith. We're going to find out. We're getting the help of some incredible countries that want this to be ended because it affects them also. A lot of people are affected by this. But we're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And after that, they're going to have no bridges. They're going to have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah. Stone Ages.
Yesterday in your Truth Social, you called the Iranians crazy bastards.
True.
What is your response to critics who say that...
I don't care about critics.
What is your response to critics who say that it is your mental health that should perhaps be examined as this war continues?
I haven't heard that. But if that's the case, you're going to have more people like me, because our country was being ripped off on trade, on everything for many years until I came along. So if that's the case, you're going to have more people.
A few moments later.
فردا در اطراف نیروگاه‌های برق کشور زنجیره انسانی جوانان تشکیل میشه.
All right, let me just jump in here because you're going to have to read the subtitles. Or, I can help you in advance with what these crazy bastards, as Trump calls them, are doing. Just a few hours after the United States media called President Trump unhinged, let me show you what unhinged really is. They're going to put kids inside their power plants tomorrow. These crazy savages are going to put kids inside of their power plants and maybe even strap them to bridges. But President Trump is the unhinged one, eh? Okay. Next one by Mario. This is downright sick. Iranian state TV is reportedly calling on young students to form a human chain around the power plants and the infrastructure, basically using them as human shields against potential United States strikes ahead of tomorrow's deadline. You can't make this up. Now just follow along and read the subtitles.
علیرضا رحیمی دبیر شورای عالی جوانان و نوجوانان کشور در پی پیشنهاد جوانان خلاق و فعالان گروه‌های مردمی از جوانان و چهره‌های فرهنگی، هنری و ورزشی دعوت کرد برای تشکیل زنجیره انسانی در اطراف نیروگاه‌های برق کشور در ساعت 14 حضور پیدا کنند.
من از همه جوانان، ورزشکاران، هنرمندان، بچه‌های دانشجو و دانشگاهی و اساتیدمون دعوت میکنم فردا سه‌شنبه
I don't speak savage, but I can read. And these morons are telling kids to come hold hand to hand and surround the power plants. But Trump is the unhinged one. President Trump is the crazy one for using such language. I'm interested to see tonight how many of the mainstream media even cover this. How many people are even going to talk about the fact that they're going to strap kids to bridges and power plants? You know, right now it sounds like, come here, volunteer. Tomorrow it'll be like, drag their asses out their houses, handcuff them, and surround a power plant. That's who these people are. That's what we're dealing with here. But we are told because we're MAGA, you know, we're sick. You guys are sick in the head. But this is what...
2 ظهر دور نیروگاه‌هایی که داشته و سرمایه ملی ما هستند بدون توجه به هر سلیقه و دیدگاه سیاسی مال آینده ایران و مال جوانان ایرانی هستند جمع بشن.
That's absolutely incredibly insane. And so now you're pushing President Trump to do something that they just can't wait to see happen. Oh, wow. Everybody with a camera will be waiting to see little kids blown up. But one of the things you have to remember after what we just saw with the rescue, you never telegraph what you're actually going to do. Remember, when they did the rescue, they said, hey, we're over here. Well, they went here and picked the guy up. They used deception. These people are morons. They may fall for it again. Listen to what Glenn Beck has and his analogy to what's going on.
President Trump tweeted something this weekend on Easter, mind you, and I'm going to quote, Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it! Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. Open, and he says the whole thing, the effing straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll live in hell. Just watch. Pray.
So, are they not crazy bastards? I don't know anybody sane who chains kids to power plants and bridges. Oh, they're volunteering. They want to be there. Said no kid ever. But President Trump calling them, quote, crazy bastards. He's the bad one. Meanwhile, the crazy bastards are about to, strap kids to bridges.
Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. Now, there are several ways to look. There are several ways to look at this. Okay. Oh dear God, the president's gone insane. Oh my, a man who has never had a drop of alcohol in his life somehow or another on Easter decided to drink. Or he's doing something else. Now, I'm not claiming to know what exactly that tweet is all about, but I'd like to tender a guess here. This sounds like a man who is trying to compress time, okay? A deadline. He named targets, power plants, bridges, infrastructure. Dems, of course, are screaming for the 25th Amendment because they think he lost his mind, and that is an important subcategory of this story. I'll get to it here in a second. But let's assume that this is intentional. He didn't lose his mind, okay? Because Donald Trump is not careless. Whatever you think, when it comes to war, he takes it very seriously.
Very, very seriously. So I'm going to try and get through this show tonight with my voice, but I'm going to show you very, very seriously. And this is important, very, very strategically. You saw a press conference today with Pete Hegseth, John Ratcliffe of the CIA, General Raising Cane, and President Trump. I consider them four great minds. Nobody right now knows what move on this chessboard they are going to make tomorrow night, if any. So everybody right now is sitting back. Is he going to push the button? Are they going to annihilate these people? Or are they going to take Carg Island? Or who knows? But the big thing about it is right now, Iran doesn't know. So right now you're looking at a boxing match where nobody knows what kind of punch is coming. A poker game where nobody knows what well, actually we do know what Trump's holding. Like SV said earlier, Trump's got aces. They got nothing. They're strapping kids to buildings. They're going to strap kids to power plants. God help us if they actually do that. That may be their bluff, but that's all they got. Sympathy. Please don't blow these kids up because they know our media, the traitorous media, will take their side. It's a war crime.
To the leadership in Tehran, especially the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the tone is not the headline. The clock and the specific bombing targets are. That's the headline. Because they have to ask themselves a simple question right now. Is this guy serious? Is this the last warning? Or is this the first move? We don't know. And I have always said that I've wanted our enemies to always look at our president and go, would he do that? And them not know.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. They have never encountered any president like President Trump. That's what's causing so many people so much consternation. They have never seen this. And you're seeing it play out in real time. That's the other part of it. We've never seen anything like this. Hey, tomorrow at 8, set your watch. Tick-tock, it's coming. Is it really? I have no idea. But President Trump said 8 p.m. tomorrow, 24 hours or so from right now. We'll be live and watching, not knowing what we're watching for. The other guys will be watching, not knowing what they're looking for. Think about how few people know what's going to unravel tomorrow, yet everyone's going to have an opinion. I don't have an opinion because I don't know. It would be foolish at this point to get involved. Stay on the sidelines. Don't listen to any of these people who are pontificating on what's going to. They don't know. All we all can do is get some popcorn and hang out and wonder at about 8:05. Anything happening? The TV's going to go out? I don't know. Internet go away? I don't know. Is he bluffing? I wouldn't take that chance. The only thing I feel very confident in, extremely confident, is something is going to happen. We don't know what it's going to be, but I like Glenn's analogy here.
It's kind of this, you remember this from the movie Dirty Harry. It's like this.
I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5? Well, to tell you the truth, in all this excitement, I've kind of lost track myself. But Ian, this is a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, and would blow your head clean off. You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
That is exactly what the president did.
I'm like, why didn't I think of that cut? That is so fantastic. Well, you got to be thinking right now, how many did I fire? You feeling lucky, punks? You punks over in Iran, you feeling lucky? Because right now, they're in a situation where they can't stop what's going to happen. They can put out stupid videos of strapping kids to buildings and power plants. That would be freaking awesome to have video of, wouldn't it? They did the same thing President Trump did. President Trump announced the time, 8 o'clock tomorrow, things go boom. They announced 2 p.m., we're strapping kids to the buildings. I want as much video of that as possible. I want to see them dragging children out of school and strapping them to power plants. The media will have nothing to say. President Trump, by that time, will not be dropping any bombs. So the entire world's going to look at these crazy bastards, just like President Trump said. There will be no empathy. There will not be any sympathy for these savages strapping kids to school, to infrastructure and bridges and power plants. The entire world will be looking at them going, you people are bat poop crazy. What kind of men are you? What kind of man wants to hide behind a child? And the world will see it. I almost think President Trump should call off the bombs, let them go ahead and strap these kids in so everybody can see what the hell we're dealing with. And then make the media report on it for 6 hours. They do that at 2 o'clock, get all the video, and then show it to the world. By the time 8 o'clock comes on, the world will hate the Iranians. Every single man and woman who looks at that is like, you guys have got to be completely sick. You just personified what President Trump wrote. He called you crazy bastards, and damn if you didn't just exhibit it. I would call that a huge win. You just showed the world you guys are nuts.
Do you feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? Now, would Dirty Harry have pulled the trigger? Did he have? How did that scene end? Dirty Harry, the secret to that character is he's just crazy enough to do it. And you don't know. So that's what they're doing. They've seen threats before. They've survived. How many presidents? They are now asking themselves, wait a minute, is this backed by strike packages? What is the Navy positioning? What are the quiet messages we're getting from behind the scenes? Remember, this is a very dangerous territory because I've been telling you over the last year or so that wars, especially world wars, are all started by a simple miscalculation.
And right now, the opportunity for miscalculation is really ripe. Nobody knows what's going to happen, and the counter move can be more dangerous than the initial move. You see, right about now, everybody who knows military stuff is watching positioning. You can lie and deceive a whole lot of things, but if you plan on doing certain things, you're going to have to move the aircraft carriers. You're going to have to move planes. You're going to have to ready different sort of artillery. You're going to have to get it ready. Unless that's a deception. You take the aircraft carrier and go, ooh, and park it right outside where it's supposed to be, but you don't plan on using that aircraft carrier. We don't know. But now we have the first telegraphing is because they stupidly came out and said 6 hours before Trump does anything, we're going to strap kids to schools and bridges and power plants. Now they have to do it. They came out and played a card that I don't think right now they should have played it, especially that early. Telling everybody 2 o'clock show up at the power plant like they got a choice. And so the entire world's going to see it. That's not a bluff. That's insanity. If they do that, their sympathy in the media may evaporate instantly. You cannot support that. I can't wait to see what the left does. Oh, gosh. Did they really? Oh, they've got kids strapped to. You can't defend that. And then you got to call them crazy. And President Trump just gets to sit back and watch for 6 hours.
If they believe this is a bluff or pressure just for negotiation, like all the other presidents, they just might test it. And then what does the president do? If they believe it's real, what they're going to do is they're going to look for the smallest possible concession to avoid a strike without appearing weak. They're going to hey, let's try to bleed some time here. This is the razor's edge we're on right now. Now, there is a third option, and I want to come back to the 25th Amendment. There is the third option. They may think that our Congress and our people do not have the stomach for any of this, and so they'll just wait it out. This is going to be the big story of 28-29.
That may be what all these panicans, Black Pillars, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Glenn Greenwald, maybe that's been the move all along. Get to this point where we're right on the precipice and try to convince people Trump is crazy. Well, this thing by Glenn Beck was taped at 9 o'clock this morning. It might have worked. We don't know. But now, with them saying they're going to strap kids to all these different facilities, that's out the window. You've taken the crazy train. You have taken the crazy train, reserved all the seats, and there's none left for President Trump. At this point, do it. We can't wait for you to strap these kids. He won't blow them up with kids. He won't have to. At that point, all hell is going to break loose in a different way. because they'll lose all of the media. I don't even know how they can retain the Democrat politicians. This is going to get really, really entertaining.
If Donald Trump can be replaced by someone else who understands this method of MAGA and everything else, if J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio or somebody like that win and we go down this same path, you are going to see those people who are just digging in right now begin to slip away. Because I think almost the entire world is thinking there's only 2.5 more years left. We can outlast him. We can outlast him. We can outlast him. That's what's happening with NATO. That's what's happening with Europe. It's happening with Russia. It's happening with those people in the United States of America who have been playing fast and loose with our money and corruption and everything.
See, what Glenn doesn't realize is he's explaining right now, in my opinion, what's going on in social media. Why there are so many people who all of a sudden you're like, what? Why did he post that? Why did she post that? Because I said before, everybody is jockeying positions for 2026, 27, 28. They're not getting any checks from Trump. That ship has sailed. It's over. There's no more money coming out of the Trump team for these people. So at this point, they need to be seeing who they're going to get behind and who's going to continue the flow. They can't do what they do without some flow. So privately, I believe many of them have made their decision or their deal on who they're going to back in 2026, 27, and 28. And there may be some back channel conversations on here's what we're going to have to do to win, even though it has nothing to do with what President Trump is doing right now to try and save America. It makes complete sense, not for the 25th Amendment, but for what are they doing in the future.
Anything else? We just have to wait him out. Only 2.5 more years. So you're going to see things change dramatically in 2.5 years. You're going to see a gigantic swing back the other way if we lose this next election. If we win the next election, things are going to change. And you're going to see these people go, oh, crap, I can't last another 4 years or a possible another 8 years. And that's when this is why I believe we need 12 years to totally wipe this thing out. We've got now 2.5 years or 2 years almost in our hip pocket. We need about 12. We need just another 10 more, and we can wipe this out. Now, that's what they're thinking. Is he serious? Is he not? But what about the Iranian people? That's really important that we look at what are the Iranian people taking from this, quite honestly, crazy-ass tweet from the President of the United States. Is he playing crazy strategically? I believe so. But what are they thinking?
I don't know what they're thinking, and I don't really care. I care about the young kids that may get strapped to buildings, but they're playing the same cards they've been playing. We know what the Democrats are doing. We know what the media is doing. They are playing the long game. They think they can wait President Trump out. We've been discussing that for quite some time. Everybody wants people arrested. Everybody wants this to happen. Everybody wants that to happen. And nothing, Pam Bondi got fired. All the stuff you've been hearing is because people are worried what happens if they take over. And the only thing I can keep going back to is President Trump knows that. All the anxiety that every single person on the right has, wondering, we're going to lose the midterms? He knows. He's been through it. He knows they're going to try and tear him apart. They keep saying it almost every day. If you stumble upon anything that James Carville says, you know what they plan. So there's no secret. President Trump is not going to be surprised that the Democrats want to just destroy him and his family and everybody around him and all of us. The only people who seem like they're surprised at this point are MAGA. The freaking out that everybody has. Nothing, no, it's happened. We might lose them. they know they can't win. They know the only thing they can do is freak people out and try to influence them negatively. But you got to stand strong. And so I'm going to move into the next part because Glenn brought up Dirty Harry. I'm going to show you some, I think, very eerie parallels to President Trump and General Patton. And if you haven't seen this stuff before, well, you know what? I'm pretty sure you've seen the stuff from Trump, but I want you to really listen to what George Patton says. And I'm going to warn you in advance. I'm going to talk to SV for a second, then take a sponsor break. But some of the language you are going to hear from George Patton, and you're going to draw a parallel to President Trump. And so I'm going to show you that in a second. SV, what you got over there? Anything going on?
Hey there. I have something a little less intense at the moment. Artemis 2 has reestablished communications with Earth after successfully completing its slingshot maneuver around the moon. And I had something I want to read.
You got to stop for a second because some people may not know what had happened, which was causing the conspiracy theorists to go crazy. So what happened with Artemis?
It was going around the dark side of the moon. It has a slingshot around, so it loses its communications temporarily for about 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. I mean, I kicked somebody out of Rumble saying that was all fake. So, you know, they think the Earth is flat. You know, it's some of these people, I swear, I don't know how they tie their shoes in the morning, but that's what basically is happening. And it just emerged on the other side. So communications have now been reestablished.
Good. Great. What else you got?
So I was going to read something. So this Gunther posted it. It was actually kind of cool here. So all glory to God. Former NASA astronaut Captain Butch Wilmore just dropped a powerful truth on the Ingram angle about the Artemis 2 mission and faith. This is what he says. A person cannot receive even one thing unless it's given him from heaven, quoting John 3:27. From 4,724 orbits and 464 days in space, Wilmore knows every breakthrough comes from above. Seeing Earth from orbit only magnifies the glory of our Creator. That is very strong indeed.
Can you imagine, whatever age you are, you're going to see something like they saw today, which no human being has ever laid eyes on, ever. And in that perspective, you know, I don't want to get too deep, but Robin loves the space stuff, and it's crazy, absolutely crazy. All right, so thank you very much. I'll get back to you very soon. Want to talk to you about the first segment sponsor here that we have, and that is PDS Debt. You've seen headlines, you've read the stories, then the impact shows up in your own numbers. Your balances rise, fees keep piling up. Then when it's time, that's what you have to call PDS debt. That's exactly the time as those interest payments are going up. Minimum payments are designed to stretch debt out for years. And PDS debt has already helped hundreds of thousands reduce what they owe and take back control. Whether you are struggling with credit cards, personal loans, or medical bills, PDS Debt has custom options to help you get out of debt. They go beyond the numbers to understand your unique financial situation and craft a personalized plan designed just for you. There's no minimum credit score required. They're here to help you save more and pay off your debt quicker and start putting money back where it belongs in your pocket. PDS Debt is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and boasts thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and holds a 5-star rating on Trustpilot. And the reason why is because PDS Debt has helped hundreds of thousands of people get out of debt. Every month you wait costs you more in interest and fees. The best time to start was yesterday before more interest accrues. The second best time is right now. You know, if I had needed something like this, and many people I counsel in terms of buying and selling real estate, this is what they should have used. When the numbers are clear, act. Take back control in 30 seconds. Get your free personalized assessment and the best option for you at pdsdebt.com/Barry. All right. After 30 minutes, let's start the show.
One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so I just want to, again, say, excuse me, please. I'm going to play some stuff here that's got some kind of rough language. Kind of as rough as what you heard in President Trump's Truth Social post. But you're going to see where I'm going with this as we go forward. All right, so this is General George Patton.
Be seated. Men, this stuff that some sources sling around about America wanting out of this war, not wanting to fight, is a crock of bullshit. Americans love to fight, traditionally. All real Americans love the sting and clash of battle. You are here today for 3 reasons. First, because you are here to defend your homes and your loved ones. Second, you are here for your own self-respect, because you would not want to be anywhere else. Third, you are here because you are real men, and all real men like to fight.
That ain't a lie. All real men like to fight. You know, this is way before Twitter and Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. Way, way before that. Back when young men took up arms and went to fight for our country. We're talking about something that has these soft left snowflakes clutching pearls so hard you can hear them snapping all the way to Martha's Vineyard. President Trump dropped that Truth Social post yesterday, and it got everybody in the left, all kinds of diaper soiling, bed wetting, crazy. They went into full meltdown. How could you possibly say that? Well, you read it. Tomorrow will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing straight, you crazy bastards, or you're going to be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald Trump mocking them. Because that's what real men do. You guys ever watch a boxing match? And they have like the weigh-in and they're like face to face and they're all sitting like this and The bravado is just exploding. The testosterone is being spit out of their mouths. They're ready to go. This is what Patton was saying to these young men.
When you hear every one of you were kids, all admired the champion marble player, the fastest runner, the toughest boxer, the big league ball players, and the all-American football players. Americans love a winner. Americans will not tolerate a loser. Americans despise cowards.
Is he lying? Back in 1940 something, is he lying? He might be lying today. He might be lying today. In today's day and age, too many people are embracing cowardice. Matter of fact, you're trying to get boys to chop their junk off and become girls. Unheard of. Sacrilege. Literally. Try to turn these boys into eunuch men's. That's the word, eunuch. It's so sad. There's so many young people that don't want to get together and have kids. They don't even look to date. Nightclubs closing all over the place. Even drinking. Liquor sales are way down. Those two things might be good, but that's how men met women. That's how women met men. Strong men. Men that went to battle. Men that came back. Oh my God, he fought for me. But now we got guys that do this all day long and play video games and couldn't tell you one end of a woman from the other. This is about testosterone. That's what they're afraid of with President Trump. They're completely terrified that men will see this and go, damn, is that what guys are like? Were guys like that? You know, some of you guys might think of what I'm saying and hearing Patton talk, you're like, man, that's a little salty even for you, Barry. But let me tell you something. That post that President Trump posted, the speech that General Patton is saying, that's not vulgar. That's how men spoke. If you don't believe me, ask your father, ask your grandfather, ask some of the guys in here. You're about to get a history lesson and a half here, courtesy of General Patton. I'm going to show you why I believe President Trump talks the way he does. Patton said it, and I'm paraphrasing. You can look this up. He had a great quote, and a lot of people are trying to figure out what exactly was said and which was interpolated. But he says that a little eloquent profanity is essential for soldiers to remember what the hell you're telling them. Let that sink in. Eloquent profanity is essential that soldiers remember what the hell you're telling them. I can tell you, I've never been in the Army, but my football coaches all had some eloquent profanity, and I remembered everything they said. I remember my dad, when I was younger, he had some eloquent profanity. I remembered what the hell he said. You don't whisper sweet nothings in a foxhole. You don't worry about your nipples hurting in a foxhole. Your nipples don't hurt in a huddle. I told you this was going to be a lot of, hey, this is really tough. When you want people to remember something and learn it, you grab them by the collar and you use language that sticks with them. And you make damn sure the order is burned into their brains. Again, I was never in the military, but I remember my coaches grabbing me like this with spittle coming out of their mouths and hitting me in the face with the eloquent profanity just, just rolling. Now you get out there and get it done. Yes, sir. And I couldn't go back home and say, Daddy, Daddy, the coach, oh my gosh, the coach, he said some bad words and I was offended. And my nipples hurt, and I needed a timeout.
Americans play to win all of the time. I wouldn't give a hoot in hell for a man who lost and laughed. That's why Americans have never lost nor will ever lose a war, for the very idea of losing is hateful to an American. You are not all going to die. Only 2% of you right here today would die in a major battle. Death.
Notice how he said that to completely turn it around. You're all not going to die, just 2%. Yeah. Ooh, hey. I might be one of them. Maybe I should dip out, said none of these people back then. When they stormed the beaches, they knew, man, this might be suicide. Yeah, we're going to do it. We had to do it. There was no video game to play. We had to work. We had to go out and fight. Sometimes you had to do both, even at home. Listen to this man's voice. That is called spirit. This is called American spirit. Hollywood cleaned up some of this when they put it in theaters. But the real Patton, he swore like a sailor because it worked. Listen to a little bit more of this.
Must not be feared. Death in time comes to all men. Yes, every man is scared in his first battle. If he says he's not, he's a liar. Some men are cowards, but they fight the same as the brave men, or they get the hell slammed out of them watching men fight, who are just as scared as they are. The real hero is the man who fights even though he is scared. Some men get over their fright in a minute under fire. For some it takes an hour. For some it takes days. But a real man will never let his fear of death overpower his honor, his sense of duty to his country, and his innate manhood.
How many guys you know who are in the ages of, 18 to 28 could ever feel that way? You'll get over it. That bullet goes whizzing by you, the enemy confronts you, you'll get over it real quick or you'll die. You had to face the potential of death in order to win, and nobody wanted to lose. And now the proliferation of young people right now are okay with losing. It's absolutely sick where we've gone in basically 2 generations. The soldiers he was talking to were about to be a part of history. And when a man is willing to die for your freedom, he won't be reading tweets like some lip-wristed soy boy on MSNBC who's too light in his feather loafers, to do anything to anybody to ensure freedom. I want men around me who understand what we need to do when we need to do it. Not sitting in some cushy studio in New York City with a $1,000 suit, sitting next to his boyfriend, telling President Trump, he's mean. Somebody's got to stop it, is what that guy said yesterday. Well, you know what? There's a reason why he said somebody's got to stop it. Think about what he said. I showed it to you yesterday. Somebody's got to do something. Because he can't. He can't take that step. He can't go toe-to-toe with anybody because he's like this. You would have never survived. You would have never been a part of what made America great. And that's why you don't understand when President Trump says, I want to make America great again. Because they don't buy into this.
Battle is the most magnificent competition in which a human being can indulge. It brings out all that is best, and it removes all that is base. Americans pride themselves on being he-men, and they are he-men.
Not now. Nope. Watch movies. I'm in touch with my fee-fees, my feelings. Hey, what happened to Dirty Harry? There's no Dirty Harry movies. There's no more Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. There's no more Sly Stallone movies. Hopefully he's going to make some more. There's no tough guy movies. There's no more Goodfellas. The guy in Goodfellas turned into a fluffy nut himself, De Niro. There's no more tough guys, except for the ones you saw on the stage today and the guys that they command. And yet some little limp-wristed tool in the media with a kid in play haircut, you're going to commit war crimes? You know, other people think that you're like mean and crazy. Guess who doesn't? The guys who are out there saving your ass. The guys out there who climbed a 7,000-foot cliff. He doesn't think I'm crazy. He's doing it so you can be the fluffy in the studio. He's doing it so you can wear makeup. Remember the song? I want you to think back. You guys are about my age. Money for Nothing from Dire Straits. That little what? Got his own jet airplane. That little, you remember the words? We cannot even utter those words anymore. Go listen to that song if you can find it, and listen to the original version. When Mark Knopfler sings those lines, standing next to Sting, that little you-know-what got an earring. That little you-know-what got his own jet airplane. That little you-know-what is a millionaire. He was calling him out. But we can't even listen to the song anymore. Like, oh my God, do you hear the words in that song? I'm sorry if I'm making you feel a little bit uneasy, taking you back to what men were used to be, manly men. Well, too bad. The reason you're feeling a bit uneasy is because what Patton did allowed you to be spending time right now watching a YouTube video. Our freedom was based and dependent upon guys like this, who's an aberration to some people on the left.
Remember that the enemy is just as frightened as you are, probably more so. They are not Superman. All through your army careers, you men have bitched about what you call chicken shit drilling. That, like everything else in this army, has a definite purpose. That purpose is alertness. Alertness must be bred into every soldier. I don't give a fuck for a man who's not always on his toes.
Yep. That's how men talk back then. The same way President Trump is talking right now. I can't take it. Guess who's been quoting and praising that exact same Patton spirit for years, and you may not have been paying attention? Who do you think has been talking about people and men like Patton and MacArthur? None other than your and my president, Donald J. Trump. I'm going to play this piece for you. I got a couple pieces for you, just to walk down memory lane.
We're going to fire Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Joe Biden, and the radical left. And we're going to make America great again. We have been making it so great. Now they're biting into that, but we're not going to let that happen. We can never let that happen. That's why, you know, I had the idea, all my ideas. Someday they're going to tell me how to do things. But I like the George Patton piece. Did you like that, General Patton? I thought so. Because we're getting a little tired of the woke generals that we have, right?
Do you remember that? And, you know, as I was doing research in between shows, and I'm finding this stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's been telegraphing this the entire time. Now, if you know President Trump's history, you know he went to high school and a military school, so he probably was well read in to what Patton and MacArthur did. And here and there during his speeches, he talked about Patton. You don't talk about somebody that often unless they're a part of your inner working, unless they're part of your soul, how you grew up. Trump actually opened that rally by playing the exact same speech that you're watching right now. He did it with George C. Scott in the movie Patton. He played that on the screen, but it's this speech that you're listening to. He played it at a rally. And then he looked at the crowd and says, "Do you think General Patton was woke, as you just heard?" "I don't think so." And the entire arena went nuts. That's not some random movie clip. That's President Trump telling you exactly what kind of leader he admires. Tough, direct, efficiently profane when necessary, yet 100% effective. He's been saying it for a decade. All the way back to 2016, he told everybody that Patton and MacArthur must be spinning in their graves over the weak-kneed generals he had running things. Here's another walk down memory lane.
We announced we're going after Mosul. I've been reading about going after Mosul now for about, how long is it, Hillary? 3 months? These people have all left. They've all left. The element of surprise. Douglas, MacArthur, George, Patton, spinning in their graves when they see the stupidity of our country.
I was shocked. When I started doing the research, I do a lot of research for my shows, and I started doing the research, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then as you see his face, you can tell it's not a script. You can hear the frustration in his voice because Trump gets it. Real warriors don't talk like corporate HR seminars. They don't walk around with pronouns. They're not he, they, she, be, Amy, whatever. They talk like men who want to win, who know they're going to win.
Men are veterans or you wouldn't be here. You are ready for what's to come. A man must be alert at all times if he expects to stay alive. If you're not alert, sometime a German son of an asshole bitch is going to sneak up behind you and beat you to death with a sock full of shit.
I'm not even going to repeat what he just said. But some German, well, I guess I can, is going to beat you with a... He's talking to a bunch of young men getting ready to go out in war. Straight up. Who does he sound like? Or rather, who sounds like him? You're looking into a portal with Donald Trump on stage, and you're realizing his entire persona was chiseled by watching Patton and MacArthur, and now people who don't know history are surprised that he's, quote, efficiently profane. When I was doing the research and I saw that Patton had said that, and I realized Trump drops his F-bombs and his BSs at certain times because he's efficiently profane. There's even people here in the audience who are in the fanfare family who are like, I wish Trump wouldn't talk like that. You've seen them. You've seen people say, Barry, don't swear. All right, all right. I try to be officially profane. Now I've basically removed it because people can't take it. What has happened? What has happened with people shying away from testosterone? With not understanding that's how men are. When the Access Hollywood tape came out, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, did he really say he grabs her by the you-know-what? What do you think these guys in the audience listening to Patton used to say when they talked amongst each other? You've seen the movie Biloxi Blues all the way back then. What were they talking about when they were going to go on leave? It's not new. It's men. We have been basically media castrated into saying, oh, you can't be like that. You can't be bravado. You can't be tough. You know, you got to listen to, I don't know, Coldplay. You can't listen to Skinner and Hank. Those guys talk, oh man, the language in their records is a little bit tough. Go ahead and listen to some old Hank. Give me back my bullets from Skinner. And I could go on and on and on and on in the music. But no, we've been told we can't be this way anymore. That's so bad. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk that way. And you see in the press room who they're hiring. What is that? What? That's not a guy. And you're watching the guy at MSNBC yesterday with the Jerry curl and the $1,000 suit, and the other guy going like this. What? Where are the men? If we don't stand up very soon, if we don't hammer these people, we're going to lose what these guys died for. These guys died. They ran onto a beach. And yesterday, a guy climbed 7,000 feet up the side of a mountain, protecting us, and you asshats are back here bitching about it, actually wishing that he would have died. I'm beginning not to recognize much of America anymore because I don't understand why more people aren't pissed. When you see people like what Tucker's saying and some of these Alex, hey, block you, F you, I don't want to have anything to do with you. And I'm not saying that we have to be robots and just think every single thing Trump says is the God's honest truth and have to believe it. But above Trump is something we all have to believe in. Because just like Trump, we all look up to the flag of America. That's what's most important, not the guy in the White House, what he represents. These people at this point have lost the plot. It's all about clicks and likes and engagement. What? No, it's about America. And the sooner we get these men back in charge like we've been seeing and get this wokeness and this pussification away from everything in our lives, I think we can indeed make America great again. But if we don't, I think we're screwed. I'll be back with more of this in a second. Let me take something from my throat here.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
You know, you guys know I have a cold, and one of the things that enabled me to do 2 shows today and continue pushing through it, because most of me, I feel good. I just have, you know, obviously a bunch of nasally stuff, and my throat doesn't hurt, but because I got the drainage, it makes my voice seem like it's going away. So, you know, if you're like me and you get to this age, 65, and then some of you guys may be sick at certain times. I got sick, and some people may get tired all the time. You may feel bloated after every meal, and no amount of water seems to help. Then listen up, because recently I was dealing with, obviously, the dehydration. I wasn't tired. My other stuff I take keeps me up and going. It's not drugs or anything. You know who it is. But I decided to call Dr. Josh for some help. I told him what was going on, and his response kind of shocked me. He said I was showing the telltale signs of something called a dehydrated liver. Not dehydrated like I need to drink more water. He told me that was actually part of the problem. You see, most people think hydration is just about drinking water over and over. But here's what Dr. Josh explained. He said your liver is your body's main hydration organ. And if your liver cells aren't getting water at the cellular level, it doesn't matter how many glasses of water you drink per day. The water just runs right through you all day and all night, keeps you up. And when your liver is dehydrated, everything else suffers. Your energy tanks, your digestion slows down, you bloat, you hold on to stubborn body weight. Your skin looks dull, and you feel decades older than you actually are. You gotta hydrate, especially down here in South Florida. Plain water can fix this on its own, and most electrolyte drinks are just sugar and salt that completely ignore your liver. That's why Dr. Josh, a practicing doctor with over 25 years of medical expertise, created a daily hydration drink called LTV. It's not just another electrolyte powder. LTV combines clinical dose marine electrolytes with taurine to help your cells actually hold on to water, plus milk thistle and dandelion root to support your liver's natural detox function. He told me LTV has already helped thousands of people and has received incredible reviews from customers who noticed fast results. That's when I had heard enough, and I immediately got some LTV. And so for the last few weeks, or actually at this point, last few months, I've been drinking LTV every morning along with my protein drinks. And I'm happy to report that I've been able to say goodbye to bloating, afternoon crashes. You guys know that. If I was having afternoon crashes, I wouldn't be able to do 2 shows a day. And I don't have a dried out, foggy feeling. And so say hello to real energy, smoother digestion, and a body that actually feels hydrated for the first time in years. This stuff is powerful. I was amazed at how much better I felt, hey, it's Midas, in such a short period of time. But again, you're not going to get results like this from a regular electrolyte drink or by just drinking more water. Dr. Josh put his 25 plus years of experience into LTV to make sure it actually delivers real cellular hydration, not just expensive pee. So if you're ready to hydrate your liver at the cellular level and finally feel the difference in your energy, your digestion, and your waistline, just go to http://drinkltv.com/Barry, as you see on your screen, to get your hands on LTV today. By the way, it's your lucky day because I see that Dr. Josh is running a special offer where you can get up to 64% off LTV for a limited time. But this deal is only available through the link in the description below. The video is right there. So if you want some, go ahead and get some. Do yourself a favor, click on it, and give yourself the hydration your body has been missing. All right, let's listen to a little bit more of General Patton.
There are 400 neatly marked graves somewhere in Sicily, all because one man went to sleep on the job. But they are German graves, because we caught the bastard asleep before they did. Army is a team. It lives, sleeps, eats, and fights as a team. This individual heroic stuff is pure horse shit. The bilious bastards who write that kind of stuff for the Saturday Evening Post don't know any more about real fighting under fire than they know about fucking. We have the finest food.
I told you. Yeah, he was raw.
Finest equipment, the best spirit, and the best men in the world. Why, by God, I actually pity those poor sons of bitches we're going up against. By God, I do. My men don't surrender. And I don't want to hear of any soldier under my command being captured unless he has been hit. Even if you are hit, you can still fight back. That's not just bullshit either. The kind of man that I want in my command is just like the lieutenant in Libya, who, with a Luger against his chest, jerked off his helmet, swept the gun aside with one hand, and busted the hell out of the crowd with his helmet. Then he jumped on the gun and went out and killed another German before they knew what the hell was coming off. And all of that time, this man had a bullet through a lung. There was a real man. What if every truck driver suddenly decided that he didn't like the whine of those shells overhead, turned yellow, and jumped headlong into a ditch. The cowardly bastard could say, hell, they won't miss me, just one man in thousands. But what if every man thought that way? Where in the hell would we be now? What would our country, our loved ones, our homes, even the world be like?
I can tell you, it looks like 2026. You have an entire species that has been divided into cucks. We are applauding people who wear nose rings and nipple rings and walk in protest and scream bloody murder because they're not getting their way. As you're listening to this, you have to be thinking, what happened? Where did we go wrong? And I'm not saying every man had to be a soldier. I wasn't. But every man had to be, at least wanted to be badass. Nobody grew up saying, I want to be a wimp. Nobody. Remember the movies back then? The athletes got the girls. You remember the successful businessman was looked up to? No more. They completely tried to emasculate men. Robin was telling me, she's like, when you get back to the gym, I need you to work on your forearms some more. I'm like, forearms? I'm not picking up weights. And she goes, I really like you to have strong, big forearms. She's telling me that's what appeals to her. That's what appealed to her when she met me. And I was my big steroid hulking self. She liked the size of my forearms. It made her feel like she was around a strong man. I'm like, so, okay, coming up, honey. Coming up. And now you fast forward 60, 70 years to the Afghanistan disaster that Biden put us through. Trump was hammering that. He was actually talking about the Biden crowd. You think General Patton would have left early? Listen to this. He brings it up here.
You know, we have great generals, but not the television guys. These guys are major losers. But do you think that General George Patton would have left early out of Afghanistan? Do you think he would have left dead soldiers for no reason whatsoever? And do you think he would have left $85 billion worth of the best equipment anywhere in the world? Tame the Great Plains to the ferocious, unyielding power of Patton, Bradley, and the great General Douglas MacArthur. These are all great men in this effort. We're a team.
Did he say I was muted? I was muted then? Yeah, I was muted then. All right, so I'll go back. I'll go back in time. Diddly-do, diddly-do, diddly-do. I'm going to go back in time here. What I said was General Patton would not have allowed what we're seeing right now. It wouldn't have happened. No way General Patton would have left all that equipment in Afghanistan. Would never have happened. It would never have happened what we're seeing right now, that General Patton would have just let these guys not open the Strait of Hormuz. General Patton would have said, open the damn strait, just like President Trump said, or I'll open it for you. I'll open a new can of whoop-ass on you. And we're going to rain down artillery. And then what I was saying was, if you remember the movie Patton, when George C. Scott, the actor, was making that speech, if you remember the setting, George C. Scott walks out, he's got the helmet on, he's playing Patton, he's got all these medals on his chest and everything, and he walks out in the very same speech you're listening to. The very same speech. The setting was he walked out in front of a giant American flag. And then I saw this piece. President Trump made this speech September 30th of last year, September 30th of 2025. And tell me if you don't get goosey bumps when you see what he's making this speech in front of.
Tamed the Great Plains to the ferocious, unyielding power of Patton, Bradley, and the great General Douglas MacArthur. These are all great men in this effort. We're a team, and so my message to you is very simple. I am with you, I support you, and as president, I have your backs 100%. You'll never see me even waver a little bit. Grant and Pershing, Eisenhower and Patton, Nimitz and LeMay, we carry forward the majestic military heritage passed down from father to son, soldier to soldier, and one generation of warriors to the next. You are warriors, you know that, right? You're great warriors, or you wouldn't be in this room. You're the best of the best. From Concord Bridge to Fort McHenry, from Gettysburg to Manila Bay, from Normandy to Sicily, and from the jungles of Vietnam to the dusty streets of Baghdad, America's military has charged into hellfire, climbed up jagged mountains, crossed roaring.
Whoa. Whoa. This was September 30th, 2025. President Trump is standing in front of Quantico and all the top brass and is laying it out again in front of these soldiers. And he just said, you're going to scale mountains. And what happened yesterday? I was like, whoa, this is pretty wild, isn't it? Very wild that he said that.
Oceans and thundered across open deserts to defend our flag, our freedom, and our homeland.
That's what being a soldier was all about. That's what being a man was all about. He talked about the ferocity, the unyielding power of people like Patton, Bradley, and then, of course, Douglas MacArthur. He put Patton right up there with Washington, Grant, Eisenhower, the legends, the best of the best, the warriors. That's exactly what he was talking about. And now today, we have people in our own government who are being, I consider, almost treasonous. Would have never flown. It would never happen back then.
All of the real heroes are not storybook combat fighters either. Every single man in this army plays a vital role. Don't ever let up. Don't ever think that your job is unimportant. Every man has a job to do, and he must do it. Every man is a vital link in the great chain. No, goddammit, Americans don't think like that. Every man does his job.
Now, I want you to go back. I'm going to give you some homework tonight. All right, so you can use Grok or ChatGTP or just look it up. When he was making this speech in the mid-40s, how many men were in the military? What percentage of men were in some way, shape, or form in the military? When you look that number up, you are going to be shocked because he was basically talking to all men. There weren't many men at home not doing anything unless they were older. If you were a man, you were fighting. If you were a man, you were doing something in the military. So as he's talking to these people, you understand he's basically at that point talking to every man. They just happen to be in the military. Go look it up. Look at the percentage of men in the 40s that were in the military during World War II. And that's when it'll dawn on you like, oh, he's talking to every single damn man. And then when President Trump was talking, he wasn't being cute when he swore and said some things. He was reminding the generals what real American military leadership sounds like. So when Trump wrote, "Open the effing straight, you crazy bastards," he wasn't having the meltdown. He was channeling the same philosophy and bravado that you're hearing from Patton. His efficient profanity was to make the order and what he said unforgettable. Those Iranian mullahs and their Revolutionary Guard buddies, they don't speak NPR polite. and neither did Patton.
Every man serves the whole. Every department, every unit is important in the vast scheme of this war. The ordnance men are needed to supply the guns and machinery of war to keep us rolling. The quartermaster is needed to bring up food and clothes because where we are going, there isn't a hell of a lot to steal. Every last man on KP has a job to do, even the one who heats our water to keep us from getting the GI shits. Each man must not think only of himself, but also of his buddy fighting beside him.
Now that goes back to the JFK thing. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Ask what you can do for the other guys out here. I saw somebody looked it up, and somebody said it was close to 97% of men were in the military. 97%, if that's true. That's just about every man had some role to play in protecting America.
We don't want yellow cowards in this army. They should be killed off like rats. If not, they will go home after this war and breed more cowards.
Ooh. Think about that line. I don't want any yellow belly sapsucker cowards here, because what they're going to go home is spawn more yellow belly cowards at home. We can't talk like that anymore. Johnny plays with dolls. What? If you haven't seen that video from Gavin Newsom's wife, she tells you that she has made her son play with, no, he's no longer her son. It's an it. He plays with dolls. You've seen what Will Smith and his wife did to their kids. And you can go on and on with these celebrities who don't have boys or girls, they have babies. And he's telling you right there, we should stop those people out. Just like with President Trump, he speaks power. And Trump spoke it loud and clear. Power plant day, bridge day, and a one-way ticket to hell if you don't open the strait. He wasn't playing around. It's language right out of the playbook of General Patton.
The brave men will breed more brave men. Kill off the goddamn cowards and we will have a nation of brave men. One of the bravest men that
Now understand, this is the 40s. I think it's 44, 45, whenever. And he's on stage to all the men in the audience, like, kill off the cowards. I don't know, the psychologist or who might have been watching this at the time would have been like, oh my goodness, did he just say kill all the weak men? Because what he basically was saying back then is weak men breed weak sons. And soon it will infect our country, and they will continue to breed weak sons, who then grew up to be weak men, who continue to spawn weak sons until you get to 2026, when they're not even spawning. What sounded so abhorrent back then, actually it didn't. That's how men felt. What are you doing, boy? You get up, you ain't putting on a dress. And now, just the opposite. If he were to make that kind of a speech, well, you're seeing it. You're seeing President Trump made a Patton-esque speech, and it's freaking them out. They can't accept power, authority, testosterone. And you know what? There's a good deal of liberal women who can't either. And so when people say, when was America great again? Well, you're hearing it. That's why we refer to them as what? The greatest generation. We've lost it. We've completely lost it. And they're doing everything possible to make sure we don't get back to it. Those usual suspects are the same people who faint if somebody says Merry Christmas. Oh yeah, that's, you know, they're attacking Christmas. They already attacked the Patton-esque speech, and now it's like, don't say Merry Christmas. You can't say that. But you can paint a rainbow in a street, but you can't, you know, put Christmas trees and say Merry Christmas. Oh my gosh, the president used a bad word. The president of the United States used a bad word. He's in some sort of military conflict. And you delicate little flowers out there can't take that he even used it, while Patton is using worse every single day to win a world war.
I ever saw was a fellow on top of a telegraph pole in the midst of a furious firefight in Tunisia. I stopped and asked what the hell he was doing up there at a time like that. He answered, "Fixing the wire, sir." I asked, "Isn't that a little unhealthy right about now?" He answered, "Yes, sir, but the goddamned wire has to be fixed." I asked, "Don't those planes strafing the road bother you?" And he answered, "No, sir, but you sure as hell do." Now, there was a real man.
I'm more afraid of you than I am of those planes shooting. I'm more afraid of you than climbing this pole while they're shooting. That's some serious respect. Patton was using this language to stop and win World War II. Trump is using the same exact language to stop World War III before it even begins. And yet, the reaction is so much different. And then in what President Trump said at the end of his tweet or post was praise be to Allah. That is Trump trolling them in their own language. They have been using such bravado and hyperbole, he threw some back at them. Did they freak out? I didn't see. I saw our media freaking out. This guy didn't care what you think.
Real soldier. There was a man who devoted all he had to his duty, no matter how seemingly insignificant his duty might appear at the time, no matter how great the odds. And you should have seen those trucks on the road to Tunisia. Those drivers were magnificent. All day and all night, they rolled over those son of a bitching roads, never stopping, never faltering from their course, with shells bursting all around them all the time. We got through on good old American guts.
Good old American guts. I could use a nice big old gallon bucket of good old American guts right now. I could use a giant pair of scissors to get rid of all the hair buns and stuff that these guys were wearing. I could use a giant dumpster to collect all the man purses. Does that make me bad? I think it makes me classic. I think it's like classic Trump. I think it's like classic Patton. I think we're seeing President Trump, and as we saw Patton, use psychological warfare with a grin on his face. That's why millions of us love that man. He doesn't talk like a focus group politician who's looking for a poll. In fact, the very first thing I played tonight was President Trump saying, "I don't care about critics." He meant that. They were shocked. Well, critics say it. I don't give a shit. That should tell you right there where we're headed in the midterms. That should tell you he doesn't give a crap about polls. He doesn't care what you think. He's got a plan. Doesn't need a focus group. They're executing the plan at hand. He's talking like an American who wants to win. He talks like the generals who actually beat the Nazis, real Nazis. Think about that. Oh, you guys are Nazis and fascists. Well, if we were Nazis and fascists, you'd be in deep shit trouble because you couldn't beat us.
Many of those men drove for over 40 consecutive hours. These men weren't combat men, but they were soldiers with a job to do. They did it. And in one hell of a way, they did it. They were part of a team. Without team effort, without them, the fight would have been lost. All of the links in the chain pulled together, and the chain became unbreakable. Don't forget, you men don't know that I'm here. No mention of that fact is to be made in any letters. The world is not supposed to know what the hell happened to me. I'm not supposed to be commanding this army. I'm not even supposed to be here in England. Let the first bastards...
Doesn't he look like Trump? I mean, seriously. It's kind of eerie. He looks like Trump.
...to find out be the goddamn Germans. Someday I want to see them raise up on their piss-soaked hind legs and howl, Jesus Christ, it's the goddamn Third Army again, and that son of a fucking bitch, Patton. We want to...
I tried to warn you that it was raw. President Trump talks like Patton. He talks like the guy who knows the Strait of Hormuz is the jugular of the world's oil supply. You notice there's nobody talking about the Green New Deal right now. You know there's nobody talking about climate change, but everybody's talking, including the liberal media, about oil. You would think right now, every single leftist would be saying, let them keep the oil. Nope, none of them. The eerie comparison between even the way they look, it's just kind of stunning when you think about it.
Get the hell over there. The quicker we clean up this goddamn mess, the quicker we can take a little jaunt against the purple-pissing Japanese. Clean out their nest, too. Before the goddamn Marines get all of the credit. Sure, we want to go home. We want this war over with. The quickest way to get it over with is to go get the bastards who started it. The quicker they are whipped, the quicker we can go home. The shortest way home is through Berlin and Tokyo. And when we get to Berlin, I'm personally going to shoot that paper hanging son of a bitch Hitler. Just like I'd shoot a snake. When a man is lying in a shell hole, if he just stays there all day, a German will get to him eventually. The hell with that idea. The hell with taking it. My men don't dig foxholes. I don't want them to. Foxholes only slow up an offensive. Keep moving. Don't give the enemy time to dig one either. We'll win this war, but we'll win it only by fighting and by showing the Germans that we've got more guts than they have or ever will have.
Why can't we show that to the Iranians? Why can't we actually they are, but why are people having a problem with us showing the Iranians we have more balls than you do? Why can't we capture that energy and have it be talked about across the media? Our guy has more cojones than you guys do. You guys are talking about strapping kids to power plants and bridges. You've lost it. Trump has it in spades. You got nothing. He's telling you, I'm going to bomb the F out of you. You're telling the world you're going to strap kids to bridges. The left wants you to believe strength is vulgar, that it's not nice. They want you to begin apologizing for winning. They want you whispering when the enemy is screaming. And Donald Trump, like George Patton, refuses to play that game. F you. He pretty much said it. He said it basically today in the press conference. I don't care what you think. I'm here to save America. He looks at the mullahs saying the same thing Patton would have said. And Patton didn't hold back.
We're not going to just shoot the sons of bitches. We're going to rip out their living goddamn guts and use them to grease the treads of our tanks.
That's nasty. We're going to use your guts to wipe the treads of the tanks. I remember that. My dad told me that one. I don't like, he didn't say that, did he? Oh, yeah, he said it. We're going to rip your guts out, and we're going to make the thing, the tread on the tank go better. We're going to grease it up with your guts. I mean, that right there, you're hearing something the same way President Trump is saying it. It's basically a guy saying, mine's bigger than yours. I'm louder than you. And I'm going to grease the tank with your guts. I'm going to blow you to smithereens, or as Trump said, to hell and back. It's the exact same speech. It's the exact same words. When you tell somebody you're going to discombobulate them and use their guts for grease, it's the same thing as saying, we're going to blow you back to the Stone Age. Trump has been channeling Patton the entire time.
We're going to murder those lousy Hun cocksuckers by the bushel fucking basket.
I don't even know what that meant. It scared me. I don't even know what the hell that even meant. But it didn't sound good. It didn't sound like you want to mess with this guy. Mm-mm.
War is a bloody killing business. You've got to spill their blood or they will spill yours. Rip them up.
Stop it right there. Unfortunately, you've got to spill theirs because they'll do it to you. What doesn't the media and people understand about that? Given the opportunity, they would slit our throats and turn us upside down. How do we know? They're doing it to their own people. Glenn Greenwald, said something stupid, and I'm like, dude, you realize you can't even say that over there. You'd have to learn how to fly. What the hell are you talking about? They're going to do it to you. You could have a trial run. You could go up to Manhattan and go into one of those neighborhoods, fluffy as you can be, and see what happens. There's no talking to these people. You are an infidel. They are going to spill your blood, or you're going to have to spill theirs, period.
The belly. Shoot them in the guts. When shells are hitting all around you, and you wipe the dirt off your face and realize that instead of dirt, it's the blood and guts of what once was your best friend beside you, you'll know what to do. I don't want to get any messages saying, I am holding my position. We are not holding a goddamn thing. Let the Germans do that. We are advancing constantly, and we are not interested in holding on to anything except the enemy's balls. We are going to twist his balls and kick the living shit out of him all of the time.
Efficient profanity for sure. Very efficient. Imagine he's talking to a group of 18, 19, and 20-year-olds. Whoa, who's this dude? That's General Patton. General Patton kind of crazy, isn't he? He's unhinged. But I'm glad he's on my side. Yet today in 2026, who's this guy talking? It's Trump. He's crazy. He's unhinged. I don't want him on my side. See the difference? I want somebody like that who's, whoa, all right, let's go.
Our basic plan of operation is to advance and to keep on advancing regardless of whether we have to go over, under, or through the enemy. We are going to go through him like crap through a goose, like shit through a tin horn. From time to time, there will be some complaints that we are pushing our people too hard. I don't give a good goddamn about such complaints. I believe in the old and sound rule that an ounce of sweat will save a gallon of blood. The harder we push, the more Germans we will kill. The more Germans we kill, the fewer of our men will be killed. Pushing means fewer casualties. I want you all to remember that there is one great thing that you men will all be able to say after this war is over, and you are home once again. You may be thankful that 20 years from now, when you are sitting by the fireplace with your grandson on your knee, and he asks you what you did in the Great World War II, you won't have to cough. Shift him to the other knee and say, well, your granddaddy shoveled shit in Louisiana. No, sir, you can look him straight in the eye and say, son, your granddaddy rode with the Great Third Army and a son of a goddamn bitch named Georgie Patton.
Ooh, so the next time some MSNBC hairdo type wig wearing $1,000 suit, fluffy in the shoes, says something about unpresidential language, just smile, hit play on that Alabama rally clip or this clip with Patton and say, I rode with Trump. I'm unapologetic. I'm riding with Trump. Patton wasn't woke. Trump ain't woke. And America, thank God, is finally waking up from that crazy wokeness spell they tried to weave on us for the last, 7 years. America is back, even though people are trying not to allow us to come back. We've got a president who understands that sometimes you got to talk rough so the enemy remembers the lesson you give them as you're kicking their ass left and right. And that enemy also includes those who here domestically. You want to make sure they know, don't mess with you. You guys need to all let everybody else know digitally, don't mess with me. F yourself. I'm riding with Trump. I want my grandson to, well, he's too big to sit on my knee at this point. I could sit on his, but he's going to know I rode with Trump so that you can live the life that you want to live instead of what these people have in store for you. I rode with Trump. And whether that strait gets open by tomorrow, it's going to be open one way or the other. There's going to be no choice in that matter. Patton would tell you right now, keep the faith, keep the powder dry, and keep first and foremost in your mind America first, and that you have to spill the proverbial blood of your enemy before they spill yours. I'm not going to wait for somebody to stick me, metaphorically speaking. I am not going to wait until somebody takes away everything I built, the properties, like freedom. They tried that. They tried that shit a couple years ago, and too many people went along with it. They put on the mask. They got fired. They took the jab. They compelled. They surrendered for one reason or the other. They didn't have to. I can't believe down here in Florida, people are like, no. And then when people would come visit, they're like, you don't have to walk. No, we don't walk around like that. We're not going out. We're America. Reminds me of the movie Stripe when Bill Murray, that's the fact, Jack. Not going to take it. Not from CNN, not from MSNBC, not from the Panicas, not from the Black Pillars, because I want people to know I rode with Trump. Unsubscribe, I don't care, doesn't matter, I'm riding with Trump. In the vein of George Patton and in the vein of my dad. I owe it to all those guys back in 1945 and 44 who climbed up that mountain, that hill in Normandy and got shot to hell just so we could get rid of that true Nazi. And now I see these people limp-wristed, seer-sucking, I can't even tell you the words I think, questioning the power of what we need to do as a country. That they want us on our knees. They want to take everything you have that is the spirit of this country, the essence of what you were growing up with. No, nope. I want and I wish for all of you that you get your grandson or granddaughter on your knee and say, I'm riding with Trump. That's it. We don't have any choice. If we want to make America great again, we got to do what's needed to be done to make America great again. And that's what I got for you tonight. SV, what you got? You got anything? Anything there?
Wow. Get on the chopper. Do it now. Do it now. It bleeds. We can kill it.
I
Got me fired up.
I saw that video from Patton, and I'm like, I'm 65. I've never seen it. And I'm like, there's going to be a lot of people, I think, who've never seen it, never heard it. There's going to be some people who are offended. And then I think at that point, they have to think to themselves, why are you offended? What has shaped your life to the point now where you hear that bravado of what enabled us to be where we are, and they're trying to take that essence away. I'm like, damn, that's good.
The country has been pussified. That's what's happened.
Pussified. Yep.
Pussification.
So
all right, I have a couple things.
Before I go drink some soup and get my throat back in order for tomorrow, what you got?
All right. Well, the first thing is the Pentagon canceled tomorrow's 8 a.m. press briefing with Pete Hegseth and Dan Kane. Yeah, a lot of different reasons for that.
Oh,
you can imagine.
Oh, so in case you guys don't know, at the press conference earlier, General Kane and Pete Hegseth said they were going to be doing a press conference at 8 o'clock tomorrow. And I guess it's too close to D-Day, D-Day 2, we can call it. They need that time to prepare, which also might be some deception too, but we don't know.
Well, that goes right into my next story. So about 45 minutes ago, just in, strikes pummel Iran near Tehran's airport with columns of flames and smoke being spotted around 3 a.m. So apparently it seems like it's already started.
Well, he said, if you remember at the press conference today, he said every day is going to be worse than the day before. And so just because we're talking and negotiating doesn't mean we're stopping. We're still blowing stuff up. And if they're doing the stuff that we're seeing right now, can you imagine what it's going to look like at 8 o'clock if they do what they got to do?
It's going to be like the scene from Apocalypse Now, you know? I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Like it's just boom. That's one of my favorite movies. I love that movie.
Talk about a scary, dirty movie. That movie makes you want to go take a shower afterwards. Like, wow, Jerry don't surf.
Now that's toxic masculinity. That's what we need back. We need more of that.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Wow. What a great
scene. All right. Well, I hope you feel better, Barry. Hope you feel better.
Like I said, I feel fine. I'm hydrated. It's all right here. All up in here is what I got. Remember when you were younger, I don't know about you, I grew up in a black family where they used to put a towel over your head and they would make you like steam you the Vicks Vapor Rub, and that stuff would get all up in your eyes. You're like, wow, man. I don't know if it cleared me out.
My mom put that on my feet. That was a Russian thing, or English Russian. I don't know. It helped. It seemed to help. It smelled great.
My dad came from Jamaica, and they've got this gut rotting rum. It is so powerful. They drink it, but they would pour it on your chest at night, and the rum is called Overproof. And I'm like, man, this stuff stinks. Oh, it's gonna make you feel better, boy. You'll feel better in the morning. I mean, if I don't, go get drunk at night, I think that's what they were doing. Put me to sleep so I wouldn't complain as a kid all night long. Oh, God.
You feel better, man.
Yeah,
all right.
Man. Yeah,
well,
man.
I'll see you tomorrow, man.
All right, everybody. Let me look here and I'm looking at some of the guys, what people are saying. Do some super chats, and then I'm going to get out of here if there's super chats in here. And some of you guys may want to go back and listen to that speech by Patton, because wow. And I took that one obviously instead of the movie one, because the movie one they'd have complaints because it's part of the movie. That was the actual speech that he made. All right, let me do this. Put it, align it. Nick, they told President Trump what they were going to do. What he said had to see their next move is, we might wake up to a press conference tomorrow morning announcing the military hit them tonight. If you're like me, you probably sit there with your phone next to you, either on your bureau or on your headboard or something. So, and you put it on notifications and you listen to see if you get any notifications like 2 o'clock in the morning, because you want to see if anything blowed up. Maybe that's just me. Chiosop, the only thing President Trump will shoot is video of them strapping the kids to the buildings. Leave it to the fake news media to twist it. I hope we get that video. I really hope we see these sick bastards do that. I don't want these kids to be hurt, but I want everybody in the world to see these nuts, these savages. Nathan Hardcastle said Trump should use a direct energy weapon or an EMP. The discombobulator, maybe it takes out power plants. You're right. That might be something. They may not even know it's coming. Nathan Hardcastle, if Don uses what I mentioned earlier, he will still accomplish his goal of putting them back into the Stone Age. Saves the infrastructure and most lives from immediately meeting their 72 virgins. Cheers up. They have pussified men. Some libzos are tougher. Yeah, really. Nikki, for sensitive ears, go research and true meaning and intent behind Paul's use of certainly not in NT. It had the same emphasis of hell no or F no. Fact check me. Interesting. Brian Newland, participation trophies have ruined the USA. Yes, I agree with that. I remember at one point they used to give nap time, corporate nap time. Like, you got to be kidding me. You got it. Yeah, let them, Costanza made a joke about it on Seinfeld, but they were actually letting people sleep under their desks. Brian, I'm pissed. America. Michael McDonald, thank you. Cheosop again. We have male friends that get their nails. Dude, did you just write that? Did you just say that? We have male friends that get their nails done. My wife told me if I ever come home and my hands are softer than hers, I better pack my bags. Oh, God. Men manicures. Tania, Barry, when I think of all the soldiers who gave their lives for our freedom, it's so sick how many Americans have completely turned on America. Well, one of the reasons why they turned on America is because they don't know. It's not told to anybody anymore. Ask most people the age of 25 or 26, they probably don't even know who Patton is. They don't know who MacArthur is. That's the sad part. Robin always tells me, she goes, you're not a big history buff. No, but I know the big ones. I definitely know who Patton was. I definitely know who MacArthur was. Boy. Marcus Classic, thank you. James Crow, thank you. VJ C-Class, with no kids in schools, Human Shield is deactivated. Target their bunkers. That's a good point. Where are they going to be hiding while they're strapping kids to, to bridges? Jennifer, that's what happened when we send all our warriors to war. All that's left is weak men who couldn't make it in the military. Beverly, where'd that go? Beverly. Maybe the movie Patton should be shown on movie night. That'd be very interesting. Okay, let me see if I can do something about that. Condition, that's because he's Patton's biological son. I posted a video on your page. He does look like him. Beverly Linton, Patton was used as a decoy in one of the major battles of World War II, grounding a brilliant battle leader during a major campaign. Michael Butler, thank you. Very great show today. President Trump and General Patton are awesome. Indeed. Neon, hi Barry, we'll watch again. Great show. The comparison, unbelievable. We need strong leaders. That Trump, God bless him, bless our military. Nathan Hardcastle, let me put that up. An ounce of sweat saves a gallon of blood. Great line. And Mariah, great show. I saw the Patton movie years ago and loved it. Those were the days, my friends. Indeed. So I got a message from SV here, and it says people are asking to clip the Patton segment. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll post the Patton segment unedited without me in it, so you can see the whole thing. I'll do that. I'll get that up probably tonight or tomorrow, and we'll get it for you. So if you've watched this show, I'm going to make the intro. If you liked the show last night and you'd like to see the Patton segment unedited, just with General Patton speaking, here it is. So what I just did right there was the intro to the show for the next video. So I hope you liked. The information that George Patton just gave you, General George Patton, and I'll see you this afternoon. And that's the ending of the next video. See, we kind of do those kind of things. You'll see it tomorrow. All right, everybody. I'm delirious at this point from NyQuil. NyQuil and DayQuil. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
you.